Hey guys, Jimmy here and welcome to the coolest livery you're ever gonna see. Today I'm in iRacing, as you've probably guessed by now. In front of you is the Corvette C7 Daytona prototype, and I'm going to be taking part in IMSA 75 minutes at Watkins Glen. Now I wanted to get into a series where I could sort of keep myself fresh after the end of the season in VEC. For those who don't know, I take part in a championship called the Virtual Endurance Championship, and in that championship I drive in the highest class LMP1. In this series, IMSA, this is the highest class, the Corvette. Second highest class is GTE, and the cars below that are the GTE/GTD cars. Now, around Watkins Glen, the Corvette is only about 2 or 3 seconds faster than the GTE cars over a lap. So it means I'm going to have to plan out my overtaking moves a lot earlier and make sure that I definitely have the speed to get past someone on corner exit or before the next corner. Something that is also interesting is that this DP is underrepresented in the IMSA series. So what is going to happen is I'm going to enter, well, I've already entered the race, just waiting for it to go live now, and I'm likely going to be in the top split, despite the fact my iRating for road is sitting at a lowly 1.8k. So it's going to be an interesting matchup of cars. I'm not sure what I expect from this race. I've been feeling very confident with this OSW and the pedals, so I'm hoping to have a good clean race, and hopefully we can challenge for some decent positions as well. Okay, well, just joining the session now, and it seems there are only 2 of us in the Daytona prototype class here, which I sort of expected given the popularity of the GTE cars, but no matter, we can still have a decent race. And what I'm probably going to use this video as is try and talk you through what goes through my mind when I am lapping slower GT traffic, because I do get people ask me, how do I decide when to go for a corner, when maybe to err on the side of caution. So in this video we can have 75 minutes of trying to beat Matthias here, hopefully I can do that, and also lapping, so it's going to be a bit of a laugh. But anyway, qualifying coming up in a bit, and I will come back with our qualifying lap. Well, there you go, qualifying done, and I managed to stick it on pole by nearly 4 seconds. So it seems that unfortunately Matthias isn't going to be much of a race today, so I've just got to focus on getting through that traffic cleanly. Now, depending on how this race goes, because I actually enjoy driving this DP, I might try and do this instead of the Proto GT and sort of do an IMSA race each week, because driving the DP is fun and I like going through traffic. Hopefully I can put in a good performance today. I mean, all I've really got to do is drive cleanly, not run out of fuel, and this should be in the bag. This should be a win based on that qualifying lap by Matthias. But we'll see. Maybe he's sandbagging. Maybe he's doing a Ford. So then, sitting on the grid at Watkins Glen, it's been a very, very long time since I've led a field around in sim racing or any race whatsoever. It's quite weird to be at the start of the grid here. Matthias is going to be lining up on the outside, so we're going to have the inside into T1, which is what we're going to want. And I'm hoping that it won't be too much of a challenge at the start, of course. I'm judging it by his qualifying time. Hopefully I've got the pace over him, so we shift into first gear, just waiting for that iRacing safety car to pull off, a pace car, whatever you want to call it, and then we'll get round on our pace lap. While we're doing that, I'll have a quick natter about strategy. So here we go then, pulling away. So, strategy around here. I've done maths. Maths usually is not my my strong suit, but there's been some maths, and I have determined that I'm going to be doing a one stop. As you can probably imagine, this thing won't go to the end on a single tank of fuel, and I will be taking no tyres and taking about 26 litres of fuel. I can take a bit less, but I'm sort of going to say, on the basis that I have a little bit of pace over Matthias here, I'm just going to overfill and make sure I get to the end. It's my first time driving around, especially in a 75-minute race as well. There's no point me rushing anything. This is just mine for... It's mine for the taking at this point, if Matthias does not have better race pace and qualifying pace. But we're on sort of not the best weather around here. Sort of best lap time you'd hope for on the other weather is about a low or high to mid 39. Whereas around here, I think if I can get into the 41s, I'll be happy. That would be decent pace around here. See the GTEs behind us raring to go as well. The idea is probably to warm the brakes a little bit. So saying that, after T1 you're going to have cold brakes coming into the bus stop anyway, so let's try and drag them a little bit. Hopefully this guy doesn't want to go side by side through the bus stop. You don't need to do this on the first lap, you can go single file until there, but no, geez, alright, scary. Scared boys. But yeah, IMSA. I sort of jumped in the DP, jumped into this the other day just to see how it was, because I fancy taking part in IMSA, but I didn't want to drive in the GTE class just because GTEs aren't really my thing. GTEs aren't really the sort of car that I like. I like cars with a bit of downforce. Not to say the GT cars don't have downforce though, but this has a little bit more. And I also like driving in the top class. I like to do the overtaking. I don't like being overtaken because I don't trust anyone. I don't trust anyone to overtake me, so we'll do it that way around. The car feels pretty nice with the OSW, I must say. I've been noticing an improvement in consistency with the pedals and so the wheels and the pedals. Wait, I'm pointing the wrong thing, whatever, but the wheels and the pedals. So you know, I'm better on the brakes. I just have better consistency, and I actually did a session at Suzuka for last week. I never did the race in the end, but I did a session at Suzuka where I literally got in the car for the first time, went out and did 6 laps, and they were all within about 2 tenths of each other, which I think is just a testimony to just how consistent this wheel and pedals allow me to be. I've got the sequential stick shift mounted to my bed here because I'm using a rim without any paddles on, which I'm fine with. The full seat back isn't too high for me right now. People might say to me on the top hand right hand corner of the screen that my full seat back isn't strong enough. It's a bit different with OSW wheels, direct drive wheels. You don't aim to clip it, because if I did that I'd be killing myself. But let's just get that out of the way now. So starting to bunch up a bit now. I'm not too happy with these GTE cars being as close as they are given their pace. I won't be surprised actually if Matthias, if his pace is what his qualifying pace suggests, drops back into the GTE field, but we'll see. Anyway then, lining up, we'll launch in, yeah, we'll launch in first gear I think. Waiting for the old pace car to pull off. As soon as he pulls in, I'm going to just go. Absolutely no attempt to be sneaky at all. And the pace car just peels in, doesn't he? He goes flying across the bow of the car. Going to pull to the outside, and away we go then. 75 minutes at Watkins Glen. Let's concentrate on T1. Third gear, through nicely, and away we go. And hopefully that'll be the last we see of Matthias. Going to go for the LMP1H category style where there's like 2 people racing. Doesn't mean though that we can be easy. We've got to just can't be too overconfident. So I think that I'm running quite a high downforce setup, so I'm going to be a little bit slower on the straights, hopefully a bit quicker in the corners though. We'll see. Just nice and easy through the bus stop for the first time. There you go. No point rushing anything. Give full throttle, and then between the brake and throttle through here. Aim for that outside curb. Take 5th just before we hit it. There you go, nice. And down the hill. This corner used to give me so many issues back when I used to drive on the T500 and a G27. But on the OSW, I just have a lot more communication. It feels through that wheel. I wonder if I am in the top split or not. So like I said, because I am a DP, it's likely that I've been promoted to the top split because of how iRacing sort of sorts events, how it sorts splits. But if I am top split, it'll be good for my I rating, because like I said, my I rating is quite low. I'm thinking about, guys, let me know if you're interested, about doing a sort of road to 3K iRacing series, because iRacing is not my strongest sim. probably my weakest sim actually. So if I can get to 3k, I think that'd be a sort of decent achievement, and then we can sort of go beyond that if maybe I do any better. But anyway, 1 lap down, already got a nice 3-second gap to Matthias behind me, so now I can really just focus on putting in consistent laps and keeping myself sharp, and that's why I do this sort of race. I mean, it is nice to have a race, don't get me wrong, of course, but I do this sort of race just to keep myself sharp, because VEC is at a point now where it's so competitive that if you sort of allow yourself to have a mid-season slump, so to speak, when you come back to it in September time, or November, whenever, or October, around that sort of period of the year, things get very difficult. It gets very difficult to sort of have that level of speed still. But I must say, with the OSW round here in iRacing, it doesn't feel a long way off RF2, which has sort of confirmed something that I've always thought about iRacing, that iRacing is a lot better with a high-end wheel. And you can say, well, yes, Jimmy, everything's going to be better with a high-end wheel, but the biggest improvement I've seen throughout the sims is iRacing in terms of force feedback. Well, I haven't really given AMS that much of a test yet, which is something I am going to be doing in the future, do not worry. So, oh, upshift and downshift there. That was good. So I'm going to be aiming, I suppose, for lap times, you know, sort of mid 42, 43 around here in this weather. I need to sort of do a lap and see where I am actually in terms of weather. We'll see. I'm also not sure how many times we'll lap the field, if at all. I know the GTE cars are probably going to lap. We've already got 10 seconds on the fastest guys, but I'm not sure how many GTDs we've got in here. I guess I'll call them GTDs just because that's what they are called in. They're called that in IMSA, aren't they? I think GT3 or GTD, I forget. My IMSA knowledge isn't too hot, unfortunately. That's through there. Good. And I've always liked doing an endurance race at Watkins Glen. It's one of those tracks that has a very nice flow to it. They've got 6 seconds now. 41. Oh, nice. 41.3. That's nice. So I guess we're looking for mid 41s then. Given that I'm not going to be oh, Jimmy, come on, mate. That was a completely unnecessary off track. That was strange. I've not done that at all in practice, so maybe you're getting a little bit too lax. But yeah, if I aim for that sort of lap time, job will be a good one. Looking at relative now, so yeah, Matthias will be there if I make a mistake, so I've got to keep that in mind. Pour through here, use all that curb, all a bit unsettled there, maybe a bit too much curb on the inside there, a bit of a frame dip there. Frame rate is a little bit dodgy right now, not quite staying at the same, I haven't really tweaked my graphic settings properly since I've reinstalled iRacing on this new PC, so maybe I've got to do that at some point. A little bit second guessing myself there through that downhill left. You can see that Matthias, I'm going to say it differently each time I say it, is faster in the straights, but just doesn't quite have the speed that I have in the corners. I am running maximum downforce right now because I am going for the Ian Mills strats of just putting as much downforce as possible on the car and hoping for the best. Easy peasy. Hopefully it won't be too long before we encounter some GT traffic, give me something to go through. And like I said, I'm hoping in this video, I'm hoping to set a good example in this video, because sometimes I'm good in traffic, sometimes, as Bailey tells me off, I'm a little bit too aggressive, but my one concern is that I haven't been able to match headlights at all, so I've got no flashing headlights to sort of let people know that I'm coming. I'm just going to have to hope they're looking in their mirrors, as you should be if you're racing. It's going to be a bit of a slow lap. 42.5, we can do better than that. Nice and easy through there. Car does get unsettled in this curb on the outside there, but as long as you've sort of got the wheel not locked up like I did last time, sort of crossed up I should say, it seems to be pretty nice and smooth through there. So 8 seconds to Matthias now. Nice and easy, and I have no doubt that my iRating is a little bit low for my ability. It's just I don't really drive iRacing that much, so I said I am looking to change that because I do like the competitive side of iRacing. I do like having door-to-door racing. Unfortunately none of that today, but this is also endurance racing. Some people dislike endurance because of the lack of action. I think there's action all the way, to be honest, especially when you start lapping other cars, but I really admire consistency in endurance. It's what I always strive for. It's trying to be a consistent driver, so I'm going to try and showcase that as well without messing up too much. Of course, I've already done 2 laps that were a second different, but we'll ignore that, shall we? So already nearly a 10-second gap behind us. I'm driving at about 90% right now. I'm not going full whack. I'm just trying to feel out where the car is strong on this weather, where it's weak. This corner's always a bit of a dickhead. Run it wide there, you can use all the exit there, nice. I'm also only a B license on road, so I guess if I can do well here and not get any more off tracks, that'd be a nice boost in the right direction, get that A license back so I can finally be blue again. Although safety means nothing pretty much in iRacing. It only dictates what series you can drive. And there you go, back into the 41s. And looking at my LCD there, I went a bit wide, but the thing is that T1 at Watkins Glen, you can sort of go wide and not really lose much time because there's so much runoff there. I'm really surprised, given how iRacing is with off-tracks in general, that you're allowed to go wide there. But I'm not going to complain too much because I'm driving right now. So, first car on our relative appearing is one of the GTDs, about a minute up the road. It'll be a little while before we get there, but it'll give you an idea if you look at the relative down the bottom left there. Just how, easy. Just how much faster the DP is around here. The DP is not actually a particularly fast prototype, if I'm honest. It's something that was sort of, I should be in third here, shouldn't I? Oh, yep, I should be in third. I'm gonna concentrate there. That's what happens when you go wide. Yeah, the DP isn't necessarily a very fast prototype. It's more just a weird American prototype. I don't know what else to say about it. It's something that you wouldn't get in Europe, really, not in the series anyway. I'm really hoping that iRacing consider maybe bringing the DPI into the sim, because that'll be a lot more interesting than driving an HBD, for example, the very aged HBD, which wasn't really that fast even when it existed. So, ooh, getting a bit squirrely through there. I am running some traction control, of course, because this is a long race, and why not use it when it's going to help you? But with, like most cars, traction control you have to use with an air of caution. You can just smash the throttle and let traction control sort you out, but you have to sort of work with traction control to keep the speed there. That'd be a 42, yeah, pretty nasty lap there. Come on, Jimmy. We're getting about 10 seconds a lap on the cars, or the slower class I think it was. I haven't actually looked at it, so I'll check that again next lap, see if I'm actually saying the right thing there. Well, the guy in front seems to be running a little bit slowly anyway, so we will wait and see, I suppose. 12 seconds now to Matthias. I've had to actually, I've got my 360 pad just on my bed to the right hand side of my webcam, and on that I've got mapped a couple of buttons for pit stop. I've already set my pit stop. I've already set that, I did that on the grid, so I haven't got to worry about it or bother about it. When I get round to actually doing the pit stop, I can just hit my Y button on my Xbox 360 pad, and that will bring me to the speed limit of about 70 odd Ks. I must say, I am super happy with how iRacing now feels with the OSW, and you know, I think the pedals maybe make the biggest difference in terms of my consistency, because something that I noticed on the T500 pedals, and I mentioned this the other day to guys on TeamSpeak, is that there's quite a big dead zone in the brake pedal on the T500 pedals, or the T3PA pedals I think they're called. So it's about 10%, maybe even more than that. So where I'm doing what I'm doing now, you see I'm sort of trail braking a lot into the corner and getting that nose to sort of duck into the apex nicely. I was doing that on the pedals, but a lot of the time I wasn't actually braking because I was in that dead zone, and it's something that I never really got used to. So I think now that I've got these pedals, which is a lot more sensitive and just, I don't know, just a lot nicer, a lot better feel to them. I have programmed in a dead zone as it is, because you can literally breathe on these pedals, and you'll set the brake off as standard. But with, you know, as it is now, with a tiny dead zone, a tiny one programmed in, I can really get the nose pointed into corners. It really helps me get through, and it's really nice seeing the improvement. I think you only have to look at the video of driving the Porsches at where was it, at Spa, so driving on our Friday night Assetto Corsa stuff when I put up recently, to see, I think, the improvement there. And it's really nice feeling it as well, the chickens in the background wanting to be involved. Good old chickadee-poos. Looks like Matthias has made a mistake, which is sad. It means I'm going to be on my own, I think, at the end of this, which is sort of what I expected. I'm not actually sure how my pace compares around here. The only practice sessions I've done, there's only been a couple of DPs, and I've been fastest in all of them, but I'm not sure if that's representative really. I'm not sure how many people are actually driving these DPs and what their iRatings are, etc. But I'm hoping that I can be towards the sharp end, because that would be a really nice improvement for me. So I tend to hold it in 4th through here. Sometimes in qualifying I'll go to 5th, but 4th is good through there on the race trim, and then 4th on the exit here. Use that bit of curb there, but you can be very easy to understeer on throttle. What will be interesting is I'm not entirely sure how this car handles. What about that for consistency, eh? That was 3 thousandths different. Sorry, 300ths different. But yeah, I'm not sure how this car handles on the worn tyres, so this will be a good lesson for me as well. Of course, this being a 75-minute race, it's longer than usual races in IMSA, so it's sort of a bit of a unique one, so not many people are going to know what to do, I think, but I'm hoping this strategy goes well, because I used to do in VOR, you may remember the sports car series there and whatnot. Those tend to be 75-minute races, and those you could do that on a set of tyres usually. Unfortunately, we don't have compounds in iRacing, which is something that I think this sim really needs, different tyre compounds. But so there's no strategy there at all. But the compounders they're pretty decent. You know, the practice I've done, they seem pretty decent. So I guess I'll find out if just not changing the tyres will work or not by the time we get to the end. Lap times are good right now though. We are still closing on the guys in front, which I expect to because they are the slower traffic. Easy peasy. And again, just going back to these pedals and the wheel, you feel the consistency, and with consistency comes confidence, and that's why I'm doing this race, because usually with iRacing I don't feel confident in the car. I feel like I'm going to crash a lot because of what I say, lack of feel at the back end. But in this DP, it feels very positive. I haven't really driven that many cars after this car because I sort of jumped in the DP like, yeah, that'd be cool, I'll do that. And but it feels super positive, so I'm happy with it. So times are good still. Keep that up, I'll be happy. That's something you have to do in endurance racing. Sometimes you get this sort of period where you're just on your own driving around, and you have to keep yourself occupied. You have to keep yourself thinking. Because the moment you start thinking about, oh, what am I going to have for dinner later? Or, I wonder what my girlfriend's arse looks like, etc. That's when you start crashing. That's when you start making issues. You have to be focused. And in other endurance races, VEC, I'm sort of lucky enough to have a team of people on TeamSpeak to keep me alive and well. But in this sort of race where I'm essentially just sitting here talking to myself, well, I guess I'm talking to you guys, but in this moment I'm just talking to myself. I'm just focusing on making sure I hit the apexes, making sure I clip the curbs where I want to clip the curbs there. That's a little bit wide there. Coming up on our first bit of traffic now as well, so I'm thinking about where I'm going to catch him and how I'm going to make the move. Being that it's a GTD car, I have a bit more speed over them than the GTE cars, so it should be fairly easy. We're probably going to get him around the bus stop, I imagine. That's my guess from here, based on how quick I've been catching him. We will see. This guy seems to be off the end of the GTE field, so he's struggling a bit with pace. Ooh, that was scary. Bit of a slide out of there, but we're okay. Went to 5th there for a second, just out of habit. Gearing could be a bit better, I think, through there. I don't like the upshift and downshift between the last corners, but it's okay. Now we'll get past before the bus stop. I'll be a bit slow about that because of the mistake. Oh no, again, consistency coming in. Nice. So I'm going to make it clear, nice and early that I'm going to the right hand side of the circuit. And there you go, easy peasy. That is the thing you have to do as a prototype driver. You have to be you have to communicate with the positioning of your car. So he went wide there. I straight away went right to the extreme inside to let him know, right, I'm going to go past here, dude, you've gone wide. He saw that, left me in the room, and we're through without incident. And that is how you want ideally, every lapping encounter to go. Unfortunately, it doesn't always happen, because sometimes there's a bit of mixed up in communication, even with yourself or GT traffic, but that is how we want it to go, really. Like third, yeah, third's better through there, I think. Fourth would be better if I'm trying to save fuel, but fuel was fine around here, so I haven't really got to think about that too much. Nice there, and this being uphill, traction control, you can sort of get the throttle quite early there, and the car will just sort itself out, which is nice. So there is one GTD down. Next one is 10 seconds up the road. Then we're going to get to the GTE field, which is going to be a lot more difficult because they are faster. And they're likely going to be racing as well, because there's quite a few of them in this race, as you can imagine, because of the way iRacing works. When a new car comes out, everyone must drive it at once. So you end up having these hilariously imbalanced fields like we have now, but it does mean that I get to practice my lapping, which is what I'm sort of more concerned with. That was a bit shoddy through there, but tyres are still feeling pretty good. I need to account for the fact they are going to get a little bit worse. And this car just sort of just starts understeering as the tyres get worse. There's an example of that. But we're through there okay though. Again, using that runoff just to maintain the speed. Easy part around here, although it is sort of blind up the corner, up the hill there, because it's very easy just to turn in too early if you don't know the course and end up on the curb on the inside, which is always bad. And also this big bar down the centre of the screen sort of obscures your vision in a couple of corners. I went for the downshift there, but it didn't give it to me. Nice and easy, just walk it to the curb and then back on again. Very nice. Car is feeling good, I'm feeling confident, very comfy in the car, and that's the important thing with endurance setup. Take a setup that isn't necessarily the quickest over a single lap, take one that you are comfortable with. For the love of God, you've got to drive it for a long time. If you're driving a car that is super nervous at the rear, you know, oh yeah, I'm going to gain 2 tenths a lap, but you're also probably going to die in the race, so better do it that way around. Coming up on Mick now in number 20. He will have seen me coming for a long time with his relative as well. We might get him into the first left. Probably will get. No, he's going to go wide here and let me through. Okay, good. Thank you, Mick. Don't think he actually meant to do that, but I'll take it anyway. Gonna just hold it in fourth there. Put it in, so using the brakes just to bring the car in there where I understood a bit the brakes sort of saved me. And the other car's going wide as well. I'm going to have to keep a tight line because I think I'm not sure if they're making mistakes or what, but I'm through, so I'm not going to worry too much. So we're past now one of the GTE cars, which should be in the pits. I'm not sure how long he's been in the pits for, but he's there. We lost a little bit of time there behind those guys, but that's just the nature of lapping traffic. Ideally, in an ideal world, you'll catch every car you want to lap on the straight and get a slipstream and actually improve your lap time. But that very rarely happens, trust me. That very, very rarely happens. So 26 seconds now, my fuel is looking good. Again, just focusing on what's in front of me. Trying not to let my mind wander at all. Which is actually quite hard when I'm driving this car because of how fun it is. I'm sitting here, I'm really enjoying this right now. I'm enjoying sitting here, nattering with you guys. No, the action necessarily isn't there at the moment. And probably won't be for the rest of this race because Matthias is just gone. I haven't seen him for a while now. But it's still a lot of fun to sit here and natter, and hopefully you guys don't mind. So nice and easy out there. I say easy, I'm just on the throttle. You can see my movements from the pedals just on the throttle so early, and that's what I like about the setup so far. It's just how nice and how easy it is just to get on the throttle. You're braking all the way in, follow that pavement on the way out, touch the curb there. Be careful, it's so easy to go wide there, so easy to dip a wheel into the grass and have scary times. A little bit of a twitch happens sort of going over the crest there. It's probably my least favourite corner on the circuit, that one, but yeah, see, I tried to just lift and coast through there then, but it doesn't really work. A bit slower as well doing that. I was just sort of interested to see if it will work or not. Hopefully we can get back underneath the 42s. There you go, nice. I think that's one of our fastest laps of the race there, so car getting lighter, tyre still feeling good. I'm happy with the consistency right now, hoping that I can maintain that. I'm upset I got the off track, but you know, that's just, it was better than having a bigger incident. So and really I probably could have just afforded giving the gap just to let off and come back on the circuit without the off track, but you know what it's like in the moment. Losing time is bad. Easy, soft there, and then bring it in. See, just on the front a little bit there on the way in, looking for my acceleration point, and away we go. That corner and this corner is going to get more difficult as the race goes on, especially when I pit in and put a bit more fuel in on the older tyres. A bit of a FPS dip there. Getting that every now and then. Maybe that's due to the game rendering cars that are sort of in the distance. I'm not too sure. Hopefully it isn't too noticeable in the videos. Very bumpy, this left-hand side of the circuit here. Noticed that a lot in qualifying actually, and in practice beforehand. A little bit of understeer now, starting to creep its way in. Noted. It's noted though. It's the important thing is to note those things. Don't ignore what the car is telling you in these races. It's very easy to sort of, okay, right, the car's starting to understeer, I'm going to have to, you know, really drag it into the corners now. It's like, no, work with it. If the car's understeering, turn in, you know, a bit earlier, a little bit less speed. Maybe the tyres are just warming up a little bit, maybe you can bring it back down again. That is the case. So, times are good, man. I'm happy with this consistency right now. A little bit tight there. Also, I'm very glad that this DPS 6 gears, because the old one had 5 gears, and that was always murder. Having 5 gears in a modern race car. That's awful. I wouldn't know what that's like at all. Drives the GTR M and VUC with 5 gears. 5 gears at the moment was a laugh. So there's a yellow flag ahead. What's that for? I'm just about to see the car there, so okay. So we're coming up now to our first GTLM traffic, or GTE, depending on where you are in the world. Hopefully you'll see us coming. I'm not sure if he's damaged or not. He's obviously just been off, so keep that in mind when we're going past him. He seems to be at decent pace, so I'm not catching him too quickly. Nice, keep it in. It's very easy to understeer there. You're right on the edge of the grip of the tyre there. So he's going to sit in the middle of the road. Is he going to let me through? Yes, he is. That was sort of bad communication at first, but I'm glad he moved over. Because if he just sat in the middle of the road coming down to this corner, that would have been a very strange affair. But we're through. The first one done nicely. The rest of the field yet to go, so this could be interesting still. I'm also wondering how we compare with pit stops compared to the GTEs. I'm not sure how much they've got to put in, etc. I know how much I've got to put in, but I don't know about the rest. Something else you can do to improve your awareness around other cars, regardless of what class you're in, or what class you like to race in, is to drive the other class of car. So if you're a GT driver, try the DP if you have it, of course, and if you want to drive a prototype, then drive the slower cars, because by doing that, we have that luxury in sim racing, you know. Not in real life, drivers can't do that, but we have the option to do that. So go out there, drive a slower class, find out what their speed is like, you know, find out how on the edge they are through the corners. Because I know, especially through some of these faster corners where, you know, we've got a bit more agility in the DP, a little bit more ability to turn mid-corner. The GTs are sometimes right on the edge, so when you say try and just wang one up the inside from 1.5 miles back, and the GT car's already committed to the corner, you know, there's no way that's ever going to work. So I think driving the other car gives you that, just a little bit more respect for the other classes, you know. And I did that a bit round here just to get a feel for it. But I sort of know where this car's okay and where it's not. This car is just a tiny bit faster everywhere, like it's as you would expect. It's so it's just a matter of finding the right place to get past without causing much of a ruckus or any angry moments. Already on lap 15, it's just flying by for me. I'm really enjoying myself sitting here just nattering away. Hope you guys are enjoying it as well. I love the sound of curbs as you go over them. One of the coolest noises, I think. Oh, don't touch that inside curb though. I just nibbled it there. You see how it upset the car and I had to get off the throttle a bit. And just easy in fourth. Fifth. Back down to fourth. Hopefully we'll get the run down as a T1. No, we weren't a bit wide there. So we'll probably get past, or just before we go up the hill, I'm going to just sit in the slipstream here. Might have to let off a little bit early. Yeah. No point diving into the corner there, so he's going to go wide there. So am I! Oh, jeez, that was scary there. We both understeered into the corner there. That was strange. So what I did there, what I could have done there, is I could have stayed on the throttle and made the corner how I usually would, but he was coming in from the left. So I just opted to get off the throttle and lose the time. I've got the time to spare right now, so lose the time and make sure we both stay in the race. It was scary, but we're both alive. That's the important thing. Ooh, taking a bit too much curb there. So need to really listen to what the car is saying to me there, where it's saying, I don't like that. Sometimes you just sort of throw the car in and that's how the corner's taken, so as long as you can deal with it afterwards, it's not too bad. But again, listen to what that car's saying to you. Shouldn't be on that curb on the inside there, but touched it anyway. Bit of a sloppy lap there. That mistake at the start of the lap has sort of riled me a little bit, but we'll get back in again. And hopefully in enough time to focus on the other cars in front of us. And they have no excuse for not seeing us coming. We're in the bright orange Cheeto livery car. I mean, we're pretty damn recognisable, so I'm sure people will see us coming. They have done so far, so there you go. Maybe the tyre's starting to go the other way now. Starting to feel a little bit of that understeer. I say a little bit, it's becoming a bit more pronounced now. Again, not really want to touch that curb on the inside, but doing so anyway. Trying not to have too much time where I'm not on the brake or on the throttle. Rolling through corners a lot of the time is just slow, but it's a very old habit you pick up from racing in the old days and back on consoles, etc. Just rolling through corners. But any time you're not on the brake, you're not on the throttle, you're sort of losing time, really, I think. So that's good to keep in mind. Okay, so guys in front are fairly close, so they're going to be fighting, so I've got to take that into account. They might not be as willing to let me through, because of course when you're a GTE car and you're fighting someone in front of you, the last thing you want to do is concede time to the guy in front of you by letting a prototype through. You want to just go as fast as you can. So a bit more speed down here, a little bit of understeer in the corner. I'm going to go to the inside. No! Oh, okay. He got off the throttle there. He got off the throttle. That was not... Don't do that. Don't get off the throttle when someone's passing you. I was going to sort of go to the inside there and let him take his line, but he had different ideas apparently. Scared the absolute shit out of me, but we're okay. Just letting the guy in front know I'm here. I'm going to go to the outside now. And we'll have enough time to get through and take our line as possible. Something else you have to think about as well when you're lapping the slower guys in their class is that there is a possibility, you know, that there might be a little bit slower, a little bit less aware. So something else you have to take into account as well, and that's not to be egotistical at all. That's just something you have to think about in terms of keeping your race alive. So that lap time's gonna be pretty shoddy. Yeah, car is starting to respond a little bit less at the front now, so I need to turn in a little bit earlier next time. You hear the gravel just rattling around the engines of the car there. Do like that effect in iRacing. Again, about 5 seconds to the guy in front, and then we have Mick, who is doing pretty well in GTD class, it seems. Either that or he's being lapped again, so that could be it. I'm not too sure, to be honest. Easy peasy through here. Wait for the car to respond. You have to sort of... It is feel. A lot of the of racing these sort of cars, as the tyres start to go, it's just feel. You have to just take into account the tyres are worn, especially when you get the throttle. That corner down there, that downhill left-hander, is probably the most challenging corner on the circuit. Because if you get it right, it feels great. But then say you try to do that a couple of laps later, the same way you did it before, your tyres are worn a bit more, you get on the throttle, you find yourself just understeering out, and there's not much room there. If you understeer wide, there's very likely you're going to go into the wall, as I do that there, just taking that corner a bit too quickly. Tyres starting to get a little bit warm. So time to listen to what the car's telling me and just chill out a little bit, I think. Times are going to come a little bit easier because we're running less fuel. But there's no need to push for that. It will just happen. So there is GTE Traffic now overtaking GTD Traffic. So this is something to watch out for. This is going to slow us up a bit, but again, I've got a gap, so I don't mind too much. GTE goes to the inside, I'm going to follow him through. Oh, we've got a guy coming out of the pits. I have to just wait behind this car here. And pull out to the left here. Well, that GTE is fast in a straight line. Now I have got the line, so we have to brake a little bit earlier. It's still there. Okay, so let me have the corner. That's nice. Nice and easy. There's absolutely no rush through there. It's okay to wait sometimes. It's okay to wait. things I've got the gap, and you know, in a more pressure scenario where you've got someone bearing down on you, it's harder to sort of make yourself do that, allow yourself that time to make your way through traffic safely. This guy's going to give me the corner. Sort of wish he pulled over to the left a bit earlier and gave me the information there, but it's okay, we're through. Oh, car's starting to be a little bit antsy at the rear there. She's a faster one. Yeah, around there as well. I need to be braking a little bit harder, a little bit earlier. I'm taking a bit too much speed into that corner. Rear end is starting to slide a bit more now. It's okay though, car is still fairly predictable, which is what I like. Predictability is king. So the GT guys are starting to come in. I've got a few laps left yet. Yeah, I've got 10 laps left yet, so braking a little bit earlier this time. Oh, someone's been punted, it seems. Something else I've got to keep an eye on is that pit lane. I didn't do it that lap, I noticed as I was past it, so very important to keep an eye on that pit lane, make sure I'm not going to swipe anyone on the way out. And also, the other side of that is important that when you are coming out in an endurance race, the pit lane, always look, there's going to be someone coming past, more often than not. Easy through here, nice. So again, cars in front seem to be fighting a little bit. Ooh, a bit wide there, Jimmy. Haven't been taking that grass. The rear of the car is starting to be a little bit more slidey now. This is the lead GTD driver. I tend to find that the leaders of the class are a little bit less receptive to being lapped, but luckily this guy's not going to have much of a choice. I've got the speed. Going down into downhill right here, and I'll be nice and easy through here. Just no point pushing the car, even though even doing that I'm still understeering a bit there to the curb. I'm just listening to what the wheel is telling me through there. The wheel is telling me that, you know, you haven't got much more grip than the tyre, telling me you're starting to slide, so I'm not turning the wheel too much. I'm trying to find a nice medium between speed and keeping the tyres alive, given that I have got to do the entire race on this strategy. So I'm going to pass right, Alan, you haven't got to tell me what to do. That's something that I dislike. Being told where to pass and how to pass. It's like, no, I'll pass high one, thanks mate. Although he said pass right and then proceeded to try and outbrake me into the first corner. Obviously he went a bit wrong for him there, but so that's something you can always help facilitate a pass, regardless of what side of the if you're a prototype driver or a GT driver. If you're a GT driver and maybe you're side by side, say going up to the bus stop, just get off the front row a tiny bit earlier. Let that prototype through. Don't go 2 by 2 through there. Make the clever choice. And also on the other side of the spectrum, if you're a prototype driver and you're only just going to catch the guy coming into a corner, then maybe leave it. Maybe wait behind him, then he'll definitely know you're there and you can get past a little bit easier come the next corner. Again, a lot of that goes out the window when you're fighting hard for position, but it's something to keep in mind. Easy peasy. Just aim for that curb on the inside there. So guys in front now, starting to become a little bit more dense. Now we're coming into sort of the faster guys, we're a bit close together. Again, understeering there quite mightily. I go to the inside here, nice and early. He knows I'm coming through. Although he did turn in quite early there himself. Maybe not the best place to pass there, but I feel like I was very clear in what I was doing. Just touching that curb on the inside is always scary, it throws you out to the outside. Lap times aren't bad considering that I'm in traffic. So I'm going to get a nice toe up the hill here, but I'm going to have to wait because this guy's a bit slow. Or is he going to give me the corner? He is, okay. Lucky that came across there, just had the room. I was thinking about it, I saw him in the mirror, I thought, okay, I'm going to be past him. You have to judge letting me pass through there. It's very easy to actually nip someone, and if you touch someone through there, it's going to be a big crash. Like, there's no coming back. Oh, using too much curb on the inside there. And then suffering on the exit because of it. Nice and chill. There you go. This guy in front had a bit of a bad run off there. I'm gonna stay behind him actually. Oh no, he's giving me the corner. I think he is anyway. Hard to tell when we take a line that's that wide through there, but I suppose I'll take it. Sometimes you just make a mistake as in a slower class drive. You make a mistake and that can signal to the GT car, oh, or the prototype car, like, oh, he's letting me through. Sometimes that isn't the case. Sometimes you just made a mistake and you've got to be careful. Oh, gravel on the circuit there. Being brought on, I think, people going wide. Alright, car, relax. Keep me honest. Jimmy, stop touching that curb. You did that twice in a row now, man. I'm thought to back it down a little bit now, I think. I say that, I think it's good to keep it at a pace that I'm comfortable doing. I'm still comfortable doing this pace. You see the time's still coming. My T1 is getting progressively worse. Luckily that runoff there is there to save us. Now, I wonder if Mr. Fitzpatrick is the Sam that I know. I wonder. He was in a Ferrari, it's likely it's him, but we'll find out, I suppose. Easy. There you go. That was better through there. We're working with the car a bit more, not forcing it over the curbs, just letting it run over instead. The actual way of driving the car as the tyres go off isn't really that different. It's just a bit more caution. That curb really helps turn the car actually. Maybe you can start using that to bring the car around. Although that can be sometimes too extreme, touching the inside curb, and it brings the car, it rotates it too much. That's always a bit scary when that happens. And it has happened before. Nice and easy. I'm not going to be too long before we have to start thinking about our own pit stop. The gravel there on the right hand side of the circuit, you can hear it go through the car as I go over that part of the course. This is the third place in GTE here. I really dislike changing gears in between there, but I guess that's just how the gearing is around here. Hopefully we'll get him coming out of T1 depending on I run out of T1. If not, we're going to have to wait going up the hill, which I prefer not to do just because it's quicker for us, but again I've got time to spare, so it's not too much of a hassle. No, he's not going to give it to me, so I'll wait. Seems a little bit all over the shop though. Okay, do stick to your line. So you see he got off the throttle a bit earlier there to let me through because I'm running a high downforce setup, so I'm not necessarily that much quicker than the GTE cars at high speed there. But he was good and let me through, so thank you for that, Lucas. You're a top lad. I just spat on my wheel there in fear. Yeah, I was thinking I'm in the wrong gear here and got on the throttle and then started to see myself going wide, and luckily saw it before I went too wide and picked up another off track. But that curb on the outside is vicious. The 5 laps of fuel. Okay, when I get over the line, I'm gonna just whack my relative over to the fuel standings and make sure we have enough fuel. I'm pretty sure we have enough fuel to do this race. I'm going to check how much time we have left as well in a second. Pretty sure we're quite a way in now already. Doesn't feel like it. This race has absolutely flown by for me. I've been really enjoying myself just driving and nattering. Again, hopefully you guys have been enjoying it too. Take a bit further just so I can get to my gamepad. Okay, so we've got 5 laps left. Okay, cool. See how much time I've got left. 40. Okay, yeah, we've got plenty of fuel. We've got plenty of fuel left at the end of this. It should be anyway. 76 litres does. I might put in 30 just as just to keep it safe. There's no point me chancing it or not. That's 34. I'll change that in a second. Also, I've just seen Matthias on the relative for a second there, so I seem to be catching him. So hard getting that bloody controller with his gloves. I'll have to do it on this next straight. Understeer really starting to come in there now on throttle, got to be a bit more careful with it. You can probably see my pedals being a little bit less, not quite as smooth through there now as I was before. Tires do afford you some smoothness. Easy peasy, nice and chill. There you go, that's better. Now I could probably take tyres as well at this point, but I'm interested to see how these tyres react on a little bit of a slower load. I think that'll be fine to the end on these tyres, to be honest. They aren't awful at all. Again, just having to remind myself to slow down a tad every now and then, and that's about it. So 4 laps at the line. Back into the 41s, very nice. Just making sure I'm back on the circuit there before that runoff ends, because it's a very easy place to pick up and off track, as you saw earlier on the race. That was bad through there. Luckily the DP has a bit of downforce, so if that was a GT car, I could have quite easily been in that wall on the right there. A lot of people do that. I've done that before. It's bad. I won't recommend it. Easy. There you go. Yeah, I think 30 litres should be enough. I calculated it to be about under 25 litres, but so I've got the time, and at the end of the race I can sort of check how much fuel I've got left and then see if my calculations are actually right or not. The reason why I didn't do very well at maths in school, so well, I'm happy that we've spent. No, I don't think I've done a single 43 this race, which I'm really happy with, given we've had traffic as well. Oh my god, come on Jimmy. Chill out through there, blood. That gravel there, I wonder if that's sticking to the tyres or not. Making things a little bit more difficult. This is the line I take through there, but it seems to be some gravel on the circuit, people are dragging it on, so I don't know maybe if that's the best way to go through there or not. At times we'll dip a little bit when well, they will dip when we come and put the fuel in. So we'll probably maybe fall into the 43s there, but I'll try not to, of course. Nice and smooth. Bit bumpy out there, but the wheel doesn't really batter me too much, which is good. Starting to, it's not aching, starting to feel a little bit of, I guess you call it arm pump in motocross, don't you? In my left hand, I'm having to come off the wheel every now and then. There isn't an ache, it's more just muscle, so this means that I'm starting to work the muscle a bit, which is what happens with this wheel. Nice and smooth, there you go, no need to rush it at all. Absolutely zero need. With all the time in the world. Oh, that felt nice. Could have been a bit earlier on the throttle there, had a bit more room on the outside, but felt nice and smooth regardless. And the last stint is going to be a bit more, I'm going to try to be a bit smoother on the last stint because I'm going to be on warm tyres with a bit more fuel than I've had before. When I come across the line, I have 2 laps to go. There you go. Spotter just clarifying that. Thanks, blood. Ooh, there you go. The only downside to having the fuel map up is I don't know where people are on the screen, but I am starting to see people get a bit closer now. So I might, hopefully won't, yeah, I'm probably going to catch them before I pit in. So penultimate lap on this stint, then we'll come in, get some fuel, and then go to the end, and hopefully the victory. Hopefully. I mean, this sounds, I don't mean this to sound bad anyway, but victory in this sort of race isn't really that satisfying when there's only one other person you're driving against, and you know you're just a lot faster. But it is a victory nonetheless. I still have to get to the end. I still have to drive safely, which I think I've done so far. Been a couple of sort of scary moments, but we've still got a little while to go in this race yet, so I shouldn't be talking about winning until I've actually come across the line and seen the checkers. A bit smooth. Oh, that corner's good when you get it right. I got in there. Nice. But car, we should be fine. We'll come in next lap. We've still got the fuel for it. Car might stutter a tiny bit on the way in, but I'm not too bothered about that. We'll have the fuel. I'll say it's about 2.2 litres a lap around here, around that sort of... Oh, geez, that's bad, Jim. What are you doing? Around that sort of area, so... Oh, man. Shouldn't be in fifth through there. Fifth is creating understeer. Oh, I did a 41.2 last lap, so I think that's our fastest lap on the race there, so doing a good job. This is going to be a bit slower because I messed up the end of the lap there. There you go. The last lap on this stint. No, it's nowhere near 2.2 a lap. It's like 2.7, 2.6 a lap, isn't it? So we'll have a bit of a slipstream here as well. We are, unfortunately, not going to get past them before the bus stop, but hopefully we'll get past before the downhill left-hander. Give me that slipstream, boy. Break a bit early to account for that slipstream. I'm pitting this lap, so I'm not going to be pushing too hard. Go to the outside, I suppose. It's going to let me do that, nice. But I have to make sure that I pit this lap. It's essential that I do. It's very easy sometimes when you're in a rhythm just to forget to pit, and that sounds stupid. It really does. Fuel pressure low. Alright, we're nearly there. A panicking car. Ooh. Easy peasy. Right, so there's my button. Nice and easy into the pits. No need to be quick in there. Again, we've got that time. Remember to stay hydrated, ladies and gentlemen. But where am I? Where am I? Where am I? I'm right at the end there. Car actually cutting out a bit there. Fill me up, boys. And away we go. Not a bad stop that. Nice and easy, and that should be us to the end now. If not, we'll come get some more fuel, but we should be good. Maybe cut it a little bit closer. I was starting to lose fuel pressure, it seems. I was starting to... well, I was saying that. I only heard a little bit of a stutter when I came to stop at the pit stop. Maybe cutting it a tiny bit too close there, but... So we're on a little bit higher fuel now. Tyres are a bit further worn, so I'll be trying to aim for low 42s at this part of the race. It won't matter too much, I don't think, what sort of times I'm doing, because I don't see anyone on the relative that's going to be challenging me. I don't know where Matthias is actually. I'm sure he's around somewhere. I don't know if he's pitted or not yet either. But yeah, I probably lost a couple of seconds there in the pits just for the extra fuel, but we should be good. There you go, nice. The car actually feels pretty nice. The car feels a little bit more... it's a bit heavier right now with this fuel, but it feels a bit more planted, a little bit less. The setup I have is very much a race setup. I actually qualified on the race setup, that's why the lap wasn't too hot. But it's very, it prefers fuel, I think, the setup. But not too long to go now in this race. All I've got to do is focus now on just putting in some nice consistent laps. No more off tracks, get that I rating, get that safety rating, and today would have been a success for my iRacing career. Up over the brow of the hill once more. Watch out for that wall on the exit. And again, I have to just say just how happy I am with this wheel and pedals. It really, it makes a difference. It really does. And you know, you'd expect it to for the money, but like, it makes me feel like, it just makes me feel like I'm actually reaching my potential. A lot of the time I feel like I'm a very frustrated sim racer. I feel like I make a lot of mistakes, etc. And this gear seems to help me iron those out, you know. But there are, of course, habits that just come with driving that I have to sort of improve myself, but it still feels good. It still feels very good indeed. Oop. Oopla! Car is a little bit slidey, but again, I'm not bothered about it right now. I'll be bothered when I spin. That's not be bothered. Giving the tyres a bit of a beating through there, but they can take it. Nice and soft through there. Everything's feeling great in the car right now. I can't complain at all about the handling characteristics. Just that touch of understeer you want from a setup when you want a safe setup. That's about it, and it's quite manageable. So first out the pits. 40 fastest lap of the race. Alright. That makes sense. Just go show what pace I think I have in this car. I feel like my pace is good. I feel like it is good. I don't know, I haven't really compared it to anyone else, but it feels good, which is usually a good indicator that it is good. And our braking point, just before the 300, or around the 300 anyway. Down 2 gears, follow the pavement around. Oh no, Matthias dead. There goes my only opposition. So it is just me now, so I literally cannot lose this race. I still want to get to the end though. I really hope that maybe by watching this video some people consider driving the DP a bit more. I know I'm driving sort of at maybe a quiet time of day. I'm on a Tuesday at 1:45 BST. But I really hope more people pick up the DP. I know that it's very tempting to go for that GTE car just because it's new and exciting. But no, I think people should drive this car instead, because then you can drive with me and I'll have someone to race. Yay! Coming up to lap the GTD guys again. It's like Mick's lost a position to Pedro, it seems. Ooh, a bit wide there, scary. God, the car feels good. This feels good. Ooh, apart from there where I fucked that up, I think I might have busted. I heard a bit of a damage noise there, so I might have taken that curb a little bit too violently. Completely a driver error there. Although the car seems to be accelerating at the same rate, so might have got away with it. Guys in front are fighting, so I'm going to try not to hamper them too much, given that I've really got no race to worry about soon now. I can just go through at my pace and be fine. Guy in front spins it. Okay, well that makes that easier for me, I guess. Gonna go up the inside here. Use the speed off the corner. Guy in front really didn't want to give me the corner. They sort of sat in the middle of the circuit. Although I made it quite clear I was going to go for it, I think. Although I think this will be, if I win this, I know I say if I win this, when I win this, because I can't lose now, it's going to be my first iRacing road win for quite a while, so I guess that's something to be proud of, I suppose. I just wish it was a harder fought one, you know? But I think this has done good for me, because it means I've had to go back into the old way of thinking in terms of driving and thinking about being the prototype, thinking about the corners ahead and where I'm going to catch traffic, etc. It's been a good exercise, and hopefully for you guys it's been also a good insight. But I know that driving in sims like iRacing, especially when you see someone with all this fucking gear like me, can be quite intimidating. But it's very approachable, and the people, if you are willing to learn, for the most part, be willing to help you as well. And I'm always willing to do that. You know, anyone has questions in the comments about sort of driving styles, and I try and answer them. I mean, it's been ridiculous lately how much the channel has grown, and it has got to a point, you know, where sometimes I can't get to every comment, but I do try. I'm staying on the inside here. This huge ass. Nice. Give me the corner there. That's good. Feather in front. See, not that much different through the mid corner. What are you doing? That was terrifying. That was stupid by that guy. That was terrifying. He was braking on the exit of the corner. That is interesting. And he ran into the back of him. That could quite easily be the end of my race. I'm not quite sure what was going through his mind. Maybe he saw me coming and panicked. Don't know. Don't worry about it now. We'll look forward to the leader of GTE. And getting past him again safely. I'm not sure. I think we've passed him already. I have to check how much longer I've got left in a minute. I'm not sure how long I've actually been in the car. Sort of wish there was a RF2 style thing when the guy says you've got 5 minutes to go, you've got 10 minutes to go sort of thing. That'd be a nice addition to the spotter, I think. We have 16 minutes remaining. Okay, I think I have enough fuel for 16 minutes remaining. 16 minutes is about, I don't know, 10 laps or so? Might be a little bit short. Yeah, we're short on fuel. That ain't bad. My calculations were extremely wrong, it seems. You have to come in and put a couple more laps of fuel in. I'll just do a splash at the end. But it's good to learn it in this race and learn it in other races, where I have the time to sort of make the mistake and then learn from it, as opposed to learning the hard way through maybe a loss of position. Nice. Oop. I wonder how... Man, my maths was being really wrong. I don't know what I did. Maybe it's like I did it on 2.2 litres instead of... I have no idea how I managed that. Maybe... Oh, I think I know what I did wrong. I think I measured the time of the race wrong as well. Oh, God. I'm so bad. Luckily, I'm not an actual strategist for a real team, or would have just crashed and die. That'd be the end of it. I'll come in, I'll put another 20 litres in or something. So, mental note, so next time 45 litres, I think, for the stop. That seems to be about right. Hopefully I don't get that same bug that Matthias seemed to mention about being stuck in the pit lane. We'll see that, I suppose. Check that time again. 15 minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna need it. Put another 20 litres or so in, I'll do that. I'll set that up in a minute. Put that up on the back straight or something. No point doing it through corner. That's something you have to force yourself to do, because I find myself doing that a lot. I'm like, okay, I've got to do that, and I'll be trying to set it up through the corners for some reason. Like, I don't... Ooh, that was scary. I don't allow myself to have that time in the on the straight. I don't know why. It's such a weirdness. Yeah, 22 litres, which is fine. What's this guy doing? Pulling to the right. That was a bit weird. Also, he blinked as well, which scared me. Could have just taken the corner and let me through up here. In that case. a lot of gravel on the left-hand side of the circuit there. Maybe I need to stop running over there. Come over right at the last second for it instead. Well, maybe it's no, it's not two-stop around here. Obviously, it's not. I don't know why I thought that for a second. Maybe is that someone pitting in for because of an error or second stop? I'm not quite sure how long the GTEs go around here, to be honest. So we'll have to find out for next. Although saying that, next series I think is a 45-minute race. I'm not quite sure where the next race is in IMSA, but I'm pretty sure it's 45 minutes, so nothing to worry about really. Oh. Sweating like this, even on my own, I mean, I tend to sweat a bit more when I'm having a fight with someone, but even going around OSW, it's pretty damn hot in the UK at the moment, so ooh, yeah, tyres starting to go a bit south. Not surprised to be on them for an hour now. Jimmy. Yeah, starting to lose my line a bit now. I'm quite frustrated I messed up the fuel. I thought my strategy was good. I think it's the one mistake I made in this race was fuel, but it's good. Again, there's something to build on and learn from, you know, even in a race where you lead from start to finish, you can still learn from it. Give me that shift earlier, please. It's very fortunate this car doesn't require the blip on the downshift. I've been finding blipping hard recently. I can't even do it. This car doesn't allow you to blip on the downshift otherwise. There we go, easy peasy. Same as every time before. Through and good. But guys, yeah, I'm interested to know if you have learned anything from this video. You know, I know that it's been just a case of me sort of driving around the circuit and talking for 75 minutes because I've not really had to race anyone at all. You know, arguably that's the race you want to have, isn't it? You want to have the race where you just drive up from the front and haven't got to worry about anyone. But yeah, I'm hoping that the, I guess, tips, I suppose, or the way that I conduct myself in traffic will maybe help you out a little bit. I might just pick this lap because I don't want to bother waiting on the fuel too much. No point chancing it, and we've got a lot of fuel left in the tank. Or I could leave it a couple more laps and try for a fast lap, I suppose, but that's just a way of keeping myself occupied at this point. I wouldn't recommend it. That's something you something that's very easy to do is start chasing the lap time and then end up having a crash that way. There's lots of ways you can have a crash, is what I'm trying to say. And I've done most of them at some point in my sim racing career. Getting good. Nice and clear. Those downshifts are the game that's going to do it. Shouldn't really be stepping on the throttle out there, but it's just so much fun. It's fun to play with fire. Oh, doing it again. Jimmy, stop it. Don't throw away your easy win, or that'll be ultimate sad, boys. I have to just quit sim racing now, I think, if I crashed. Now I'm going to crash, aren't I? Oh man, don't say these things to me. What was that? That felt like a bit of a better lap. There you go, a bit better. Consistency has been good though. I'm really happy with the consistency. That's the thing that I've been most pleased with in this race, is just how consistent I've managed to be in. That is always what you chase as an endurance driver. You just chase being consistent and getting the most out of the car on your stint. Now, of course, there might be another driver that can extract a bit more than you, but that doesn't matter. You focus on your own pace, making sure that's good. And that's how you get through endurance races, usually in one piece. I was saying that my DNS season last season sort of contradicts that a bit because we got killed a lot, but that's just one of those things. The car is feeling absolutely gorgeous right now, I must say. Even on these old tyres, it's just feeling absolutely bulletproof. That's my. I shifted down too late there. That was my mistake, but it still felt good through there, regardless. Oh, hey! She's getting feisty, boys. Oh man, I'm gonna just spit in this lap. I don't want a chance of fuel at all. There's probably check how much time's left before I do that. I can't remember what time, but I can do it in pit lane. Easy peasy. Oh, lemon squeezy. Don't get a pit lane speed limit, for the love of God. Right, okay. Gamepad out. We've got like 10 minutes left of this race. So that should be enough. I'm still frustrated that I messed up the fuel, but oh well. Worse things have happened. Go on, fill her up, boys. Well, fill her up, sort of. What? Oh, it did my tyres, I guess. Cool. Well, got new tyres apparently. Doesn't even matter. Oh, hello. Gonna just be nice and easy out of here now because I forgot to take my relative on the way out. That was bad by me. Sorry, who was that? Someone. David. Sorry, David. Meant to check my relative, but I forgot. So last couple of laps now then at Watkins Glen in our DP goodness. I think we're on new tyres. It feels like we are. Maybe we'll try and put in a fast lap towards the end. Don't want the inside there, but yeah, we're on new tyres. Oh, look at that turning! Let's go fast. I'm pumped now for these last couple of laps. I can really feel the grip in the wheel now. The car is just fighting. Supreme grip to what I'm used to. I wonder if I can get into the 40s. That'll be a nice time if I can do that. On lower fuel, of course, and we have fresher tyres, so I think it should be possible. I wouldn't be surprised if we beat our qualifying time, actually, considering how bad my qualifying time was, but we'll see. Car is gripping up very nicely out of there. And the fourth in. Back on the throttle, very... Oh, everything just feels so much better on new tyres. Like, getting a nice treat at Christmas, this. Here we go then, let's see what we can do. Last couple of laps. Oh, the turning is supreme! I love it! It's always, that's like the biggest treat when you're doing endurance racing, is getting that fresh set of tyres and being able just to go ham on them. Let's go. I've got a bit of traffic in front. This might hold up our lap. Probably will though. Especially we're on newer tyres. Going to be absolutely motoring. Oh, a bit wide there. Focus for this downhill left. Put it in nice and late. There you go, nice. Gonna get held up, unfortunately, I think. And maybe it'll have to come next lap. Yeah, we are going to get held up. Something fierce. These guys are fighting for position as well, so they aren't going to be too forthcoming with letting me through. I'm here. I'm here. Yeah, there goes our lap time, but next lap, he's going wide, he's going very wide. There should be a low 41 still, I think, or a mid 41 at least. Yeah, low 41, that 40 is definitely there. Now I've got a clean track in front of us to do it. Come on, let's go. Let's do something special. I think I can allow myself this this bit at the end of the race as a reward for having a fairly clean, consistent race up to this point. Bring it in. Brakes, and then back on so early on these new tyres. Release the steering. Focus on getting the nose in here. Good. The car is just absolutely planted on this setup. I love it. That's what sim racing is about right here. This feeling is being one with your virtual machine. A little bit of a dip there on the curb. That's probably the only mistake of the lap. Yeah, fifth is doable through here, so you know it's quick. Come on, give me that 40. Give me that 40. Come on. Give it me. 40.4. Wonder if we can get into the 39s. I don't think I can, but we'll try. But that's by far our fastest lap of the race, and I just feel like I feel so confident right now. This pedal and wheel set just makes everything feel so positive. I can't say enough good things about them. I really can't. Much better on the throttle through there this time. Bouncing off the limiter and 4 almost through there. Car is just doing everything I want it to. Oh, this is the rush, this is. Oh no. Slow traffic, don't ruin my lap, dude. It's going well slow. Oh, that was annoying. Really slowed me up through there. Could have been a faster lap. If you're going slow, get off the goddamn line. Last lap then. Following that for us to improve. Let's go. 40.5, a little bit slower. Wide at T1. What are you doing? Get out of the way. Are you shitting me? You come flying out the pits and come onto the racing line. Dude, that's not alright. That is not alright to do that. I guess it wasn't okay for me to try and get past him there, but that was just terribly silly. Especially when you're not fighting anyone. But our 40 is going to be gone now, unfortunately. We'll try and get a low 41 anyway. So you're trying too hard now, starting to jab at the throttle a bit. Very lucky not to get a 4x from that, just a tiniest bit of contact at the front. Probably my biggest mistake of the race actually was just trying to force that issue when I really didn't need to. Oh, and that as well. It's okay, let's just reel it back in now, Jimmy. You've done your fastest lap, done your 40.4. You've led from start to finish. I think that was a good, positive experience for me. I know it wasn't a very exciting race from the, you know, I sort of drove my own for literally all the race. But in terms of a learning experience of driving this car and driving it in traffic, I felt it was a very positive experience. And at the end of the day, we'll still take a win. We still take a win in the official session. There it is. I think we do anyway. Cross the line. Not bad at all. 75 minutes, 1 incident. I will take that. But guys, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video in any capacity, then please hit that like button. And if you really enjoyed it, hit subscribe to be notified of future videos. Take care guys, have an awesome day. See you all next time.